ASFM, feel free to interrupt us if you have any questions or comments, okay? Like, of course, like, raise your hand, but, like, be careful. Yes? Sí.
Sí, yo también.
Okay, so we're gonna present you hydroponics. So first off, what is a hydroponic? Well, the word hydroponic comes from Latin, and it means working water. So in a few words, a hydroponic is like a system for growing plants that does not involve the actual growing and putting them in dirt, and it still has all the minerals and nutrients that you would get with normal planting.
The key here is that these nutrients, you get them from the water and certain other objects that they help you not use the soil, okay?
And also it's much easier.
Ready?
I have a question. Like, do you know the plants that they sell in HEB that they're like in a carton? Not carton, but like in a plastic.
Bolsa negra.
No, in a plastic.
Roses, so.
Like that lettuce. Is that grown hydroponically?
You can grow lettuce hydroponically, but not everyone does it.
Like their systems, it varies because sometimes it's not economically better, but in like as an enterprise, you would choose what's cheaper for you, you know?
But
So
like
sometimes,
that lettuce, like the things that have like the little strings on the bottom, are they always grown hydroponically?
what are
No,
these
not
with
always.
strings?
I don't know.
Not always.
Well, as I was saying, like, this is also a really easy idea so that people can build it in their house and they don't have to be on a field, or it depends on like if it rains too much or if the sun is shining. Like, it's an easier way to really ensure that the crops will grow.
And now we're gonna show you a short video about explaining more or less what it's hydroponic.
Hydroponic systems have been around for centuries. In fact, the Aztecs were some of the first to successfully grow produce without soil. Quite an accomplishment, and one that made a pretty big impression on future gardeners. The modern hydroponic system is far-reaching and varied, ranging from simple at-home kits to large-scale commercial productions. Whether you are choosing to experiment with a few plants for fun or interested in learning the skill for profit, hydroponics is for everyone. A hydroponic system typically includes the plants, the nutrient-filled water, reservoirs for draining and feeding, and in some cases, grow lights. The hydroponic system can be as simple as one plant in a cup of water on your kitchen windowsill, or as elaborate as a large-scale commercially operated facility. For years, customers have been purchasing hydroponically grown fruits and vegetables in efforts to eat nutritious, healthy, and delicious food. Believe it or not, building a complete hydroponic growing system is easier than you think. In fact, with just a few inexpensive supplies, it's easy to set up, maintain, and grow gorgeous and healthy fruits and vegetables. From simple wick systems to ebb and flow or nutrient film technique to aeroponic, every hydroponic growing system is based on the same principle. Learn to master your hydroponic system, and in no time at all, you can be enjoying the benefits of indoor gardening. Whether you're just looking for information or you're interested in getting started with your own hydroponic system, either for fun or for profit, a hydroponic growing system is waiting for you. Find valuable resources and tips to keep you informed on www.hydroponicsinfocentral.com.
And that's basically like a company that is wanting to like promote more hydroponics. Okay, so how does a hydroponic work? Well, it basically means that we don't use soil. So all the nutrients that the plants get and all like the minerals and everything, they get it from the water. And in the water, if you want to make a hydroponic like this, because there are many types, you have to...
So I think it's good. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So everyone could stand up and just come close, like a small circle, so everyone can look towards me. So you're trying to like,
It's actually pretty simple. All you need is these baskets, which were kind of they're kind of hard to come by, especially in small sizes. So that's why we got ours in this size, because it was the one that was available. And then yeah, you're like the fish tank. It's more appropriate to buy the pebbles that are called they're like much bigger and like ones that have little holes.
It's because it lets the water flow. Like, it
Unfortunately,
takes it
here,
more
like,
time.
especially in Monterey, it's very difficult to get them, like, in small portions, especially when we wanted to make the hydroponic, because they only sell them by tons. So it was very difficult to get, like, a small company or a small shop just to get us, like, the amount that we needed. But in the United States, it's very easy to get them. And the pebbles actually also help the plants to, like, give them minerals and everything. And
they also store water so that you can like continuously get water.
And the cool part is that you can actually grow whatever you want, and you can also buy like this mixture that you need to put like in the water for them to grow easier, and for them like to get the actual like nutrients and everything they need. So basically, you can actually get like a box from whatever store you want, even from your house. You just make holes and place like these baskets, and the holes in the baskets help the plants get actually the nutrients from the water. And the tip also is you can cut it like instead of doing it a hole so it's sturdier, you can cut it with little strips, and that way like you can push it in and push it out without fearing that it will fall like this. So we're learning. And well, another basic part from the hydroponic is the pump, which goes like at the bottom. And well, here in our situation, it was very hard to get it as well. But in the United States, we get materials very different. So the air pump helps like get the flowing of minerals and water more rapidly to the plant. And well, this is like a basic picture.
And it's like, as I said before, it's easy to have it like as a side project in your house. Like, it doesn't even take you that much time, and you can have like after school, before you do your homework, like take care of the plants like 5 minutes and then you're done. And it's a really good thing.
And our basic purpose for this was like to create a kind of like a solution for people who like are in poor areas or something that they can grow plants easily. This is like a basic way in which they could actually grow their own food if necessary, or even like small plants just for decoration or like whatever basically they want. And since it's like very easily made, and you can even use recycled materials, so it's like a perfect solution for that.
And if any of you has anybody been to Mexico before? If you're not from Mexico, like Mexico, the country. Like, I don't know why the climate is like this, but it's a desert. Like, it's really hot most of the time, so it's really hard for communities that don't have the supplies or the money to buy it to be able to grow fresh crops for them. So they end up having malnutrition because their crops are not fresh.
So I think if you prefer, everyone can go sit down so we can continue with the presentation. We just wanted you to look at how simple a hydroponic can be.
This is all filled with water. So the plants are actually, the water reaches the, like over here, so they're constantly in water.
So first, hydroponics are easy to do. So if any one of you plants or something, you should give it a try. There's nothing to lose, and it's good for the environment. And the second challenge is to convince enterprises, corporations, which is like the hard part of hydroponics.
And like the interesting part is that growing, like for example, as Cody said, like lettuce or any other plants as a like with a hydroponic system, it gives them the same nutrients and the same like energy and proteins they need as if they were growing in soil. But with hydroponics, it's like a more ecological way to do it. Well, and that's basically just a summary of like what we just explained.
Like the little effort it takes and how it's like it has a different nutrient solution, and like what we just explained if you were
And also, recently a team did something similar to this at our school, and it was really successful. What they did was, instead of doing it with hydroponics, they were just like little baskets where they put food and like seeds and soil. Of course, hydroponics are those are not as like mass produced as the hydroponics, but it was nice to see how the community reacted in a very positive way. Like the people who went to do the activity afterwards, a few weeks they went back and they started seeing how the plants were growing, they were taking care of them. So it's a great way to gain responsibility, and also to let less fortunate people actually have a chance of growing their own food and having plants food that they usually wouldn't have access to. And like the interesting part about hydroponics is that you can actually like adapt them to the size that you prefer. Like you can do like a small hydroponic or a big one, like for the company.
Yes, Teresa?
Can they be grown inside?
Yes,
Like,
that's the thing that they made up on the video, of the picture. Like, and that was what I was going to tell you. There's a lot of farms that use this technique and do it inside. For, as Carcano said, in places like here, that's an arid like climate that some plants can't grow. You can do this technique to grow something that should, normally wouldn't grow in Mexico and grow it inside.
So the thing is, you always have to make sure that they have some type of light. Here in this picture, they're inside of a greenhouse, so they have natural light. But you can also buy those artificial lights. And sometimes what will happen is that when the plants are small, they usually need more caretaking, so you'll have them inside at the beginning. But afterwards, when they're more grown up, you can take them to a hydroponic that's outside, and they'll withstand weather conditions, harsh weather conditions.
So how complicated is it? It's really like there's two extremes. So depending on what you want to do, it's how complicated. Because there's some with high technology, like the one you see here. You can see it's really complex. But like you can also have one like that it took us half an hour or 1 hour to make, and it can really grow your own food.
Yeah, like the really complicated ones check the pH of the water and like how many nutrients they get a day and things like that, but you can like grow it easily at home.
And what's really important to understand, it's not that, like we're not saying that planting with soil is wrong. Like it's totally good as well. But this is just like an alternative for different type of situations that you can have as an option.
Yes.
For a company, what is the benefit of using hydroponics?
First of all, have you heard people who go to the market and only buy organic food?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like there's something called, ¿cómo se llama? Like, okay, everyone speaks Spanish or not?
Sí.
Todos. Who doesn't speak Spanish? Okay, you, yeah.
Okay.
Haz de cuenta, empresas socialmente responsables. O sea, el tipo de empresas que se dedican a hacer bien por el medio ambiente y la comunidad. Haz de cuenta es lo mismo. Están dispuestos a pagar un poquito más para ese mercado. Esa gente que hace cuenta, por tú que yo nada más compro comida orgánica o comida de granjas que tipo no maltratan animales, por ejemplo. Eso se cuenta ese tipo de mercado a lo que las empresas con esto apuntan. Okay?
And also sometimes, because of the condition in which we are currently living, a lot of the times a soil won't have sufficient nutrients for the plant. And by consistently checking the pH in the water and making sure there are enough nutrients, we can ensure that the food will actually have what it needs. That's why a lot of vegetables and like that, like you guys were mentioning, they're said to be organic because now they have to be organic in order to have the necessary ingredients. And so if you grow in a hydroponic, it will be organic.
And another advantage would be like totally that they could actually grow them like inside inside like a space, and that climate change and other factors wouldn't actually affect the growing of them.
So if you live in an apartment, that's a
Imagine you're like a company and you're a really big producer of, like you sell some like lettuces, I don't know, to the local market. If now that there's more CO2 in the air and the climate is changing, you can't like really predict when the season for planting will be. So if you use hydroponics in the inside of something that's protected, like from the weather, you at least have something assured, like you know it will grow and you know.
Okay, so far, does anybody has any question, comment? Yes?
Why would you need a timer?
Okay.
Why would you need a timer? Like a simple timer.
Basically, this is like a simple timer is mostly used whenever you're like using the complicated way of having a hydroponic, because they actually take, as I told you, like the pH of the water and how much like the time frames in which they will actually give them nutrients or more like a mineral or something that they're missing.
Questions? Anybody? No?
The one that just basically showing some of the parts.
Like as you saw ours, we don't have all the complex things, but these are something that like companies do use to make hydroponics.
That's kind of like the.
And here's the part of where the air pump connects, like the one, but it's comes so it can get the flow of water inside the hydro plant.
And also there you see all the little cuts that that we mentioned, so that it's sturdier. Yes?
Yes, those are
Yes.
The big one.
the real pebbles that you should actually. It's called gravel.
Yes?
Is there any specific amount of water that you need?
We actually have, if you do this type of hydroponic, you kind of like have to fill it like up to the top so the plants can actually get the nutrients.
And the roots are constantly with water so that they're getting.
So you can see in the picture. So what happens? Like,
Technically, there is, but there's a point where like it's just better to fill it and like instead of being constantly like refilling it.
So not all plants can be grown by hydroponics, right?
No, well, you can't grow like very big plants unless you have like huge hydroponic, but you can actually grow like small plants or, like, for example, lettuce is actually grown in hydroponic.
I think that's a good question. And what I will tell you is that there's plants that actually need more things that when you can give them, that nature does give them, you know? Like, I don't know, sun. Like, you cannot give them sun. You can give them like that pretended sun. And like there's plants that will like believe it and they will grow. But I don't know for every single plant you can do it.
That's basically our hydroponics, and now we have like the small activity.
well, also I wanted to mention there's another type of hydroponic that it's very interesting because they use the nutrients. They assure that the water has nutrients by using a water pump and fishes. So then the fishes will produce poop, and then they use the poop. They put the poop. They make sure that the poop goes into this, and then that is used as a nutrient for the plant. So it sounds kind of gross, but it's actually really cool.
If you want to do the activity.
Were any more questions? No? Anybody?
Okay, so y'all can come close and we can actually show you.
Guys, it's hard to shine.
One of you guys can leave with a little token to remember the project and to remember hydroponics and
You know how easy it is. Like I know it sounds like I say it's easy, but they're just saying it so that we like their project. But it's really easy.
So basically, I'm pretty sure in elementary a lot of you guys did this. You had a little Ziploc bag and you put cotton and you put a bean and you grew your plant. So what we want to do is to imitate that, and we're using recycled bottles, and we want to see if you guys would cut this and then use this as a cup, and then we can put
And you can actually choose a ribbon. These are also recycled. And the paper was actually taken from this notebook, and this notebook was like we bought it from the Toronto Zoo, which is actually made of elephant poop. If you want to take it.
So it's nothing to do with hydroponics, but it's interesting.
It's making it recycled.
Fun fact.
Yeah, like you can actually see it here, and you can pass it around if you want.
It smells.
No, it doesn't smell. You can smell it, right?
Take one of these. Para que te acuerdes. Here are another scissors.
And you can choose a ribbon to put like around it.
Yes, y no me nutrients también.
Let's see what
Digo, no todos van a alcanzar, pero si lo pueden share. You can take a nutrient bag.
Like one. Pensé que había que luego so that everybody can put it to their.
Yes. Yes, I actually, well, there's actually things for the girls. Es para que lo amarres en la botellita. Si quieres agarrar uno rosa, puedes agarrar. Sí. Ajá, sí. Digo, no sé si tienes un closet en la que se lo pueden poner. There's a cup with water right there, so you can actually.
Yes. Pónganle semillas, no se les olviden para que tengan una planta en su casa.
Les conviene que estén tipo metidas en el
Bueno, aquí everybody grab cotton whenever you want. Acá.
Qué lindo, ¿quién es el que le gusta John Mayer aquí? Me cae bien. Yes.
Ya acabaron. Ya.